Good morning, beloved ladies, and welcome to another glorious day in the temple. I've just been sat in my garden chair, listening, writing, asking questions, receiving very wise answers. I'm going to be sending out some information today anyway that just refines once again what it is we're doing. We're laying down foundational stones. This 40 days, this practice, is the selecting, laying down, and cementing in the foundational stones of the temple. I've been playing around with this wording called the Sisterhood Code. I was born as an only child, and I'm not really sure I know what that word means. And I never like engaging with anything unless I'm really showing up. What I feel more attuned to is the womanhood codes. Now that is something I understand. And again, working with this the seven psycho-spiritual centers, the 7 chakras. And how, if we can get these 7 centers in pure and holy alignment, our work will be impeccable. There are so many ideas floating around that temple work is a place of sacred sexuality. And sometimes I get the impression that people think it's only a place of sacred sexuality. I'm very concerned about this, because that is not something I want to create or give space to for others to create in this name of Sophia. And yet, not perhaps, that part of life will most definitely need to be enacted, addressed, and elegantly upheld in the sanctity of the temple. It often interests me, this word template and temple, the original template of our human design, and the temple as being the space where it is held, transmitted, reminded. This is most definitely the temple I'm very interested in creating, a place where the original template, as God intended us to be, is housed, transmitted, upheld, and agreed upon. One of my concerns has been this issue, taking the war out of man. This was centuries ago. What is that going to look like now, in this model temple epoch? When the priestess and the mortal man come together to transmit the original template. The words I heard this morning: if fear has infected the body, then you work with his body. If fear has infected the mind, then you work with the mind. If fear has infected the heart, you work with the heart. And if fear has infected the soul, you work with the soul. And then I ask myself another question. What if a man came to the temple and was seeking refuge from the fear? How could we uphold the original template and serve him? What is this going to look like now in this transparent age? I believe the man and his wife would come to the temple, and together they would select a temple priestess to be their surrogate bridge to the divine. This would be a lady that the wife feels safe with. This would be a lady that the man feels safe and kind-heartedly attracted to. There would be a purity of attractiveness coming from the level of heart and soul. All three of them would work together. The temple priestess would very gently, very calmly, and with great precision and clarity instruct the wife how to remember her temple arts. It is in there, in every woman. She would demonstrate with the man, then the wife would take over, and the priestess would be holding a very clear space where she is not needing anything from either of them. She is simply here to give her loving truth as wisdom, as transmission. I, for one, do not want any closed doors or private spaces where things are going on with the priestess and the one she is working with. I'm asking for complete transparency, decency, and a very elevated, inspired application of this work. We want to lay these foundation stones down good and proper. And the Womanhood Code is part of that. And reminding ourselves of our elegance, grace, and nobility. Beloved sisters, women, priestesses, thank you for listening. I welcome all your comments on this subject. This is one of my not so much gravest concerns, but it feels like a mature concern. And I shall do everything within my means to keep this temple in alignment with her, with Sophia, with wisdom, with the highest expression of sacred womanhood that we, as her daughters, are able to transmit. I welcome the whole of life and all its expressions into the temple. But everything we do must reflect the purity of the original template that sits in the Holy of Holies of the temple space we are creating as a circle, and the temple space that sits within our own beingness as womb. May the grace of Sophia be within us always.